So this morning, we'll start in a seated pose, just to take a couple of moments to settle the breath and let the hips open out a little bit as well. So sitting tall, just tilting the pelvis forwards a little bit. Most of us will sit with a slightly rounded back, so we want to try and move that away from being a natural position for us to sit into. Just lengthen the front of the chest up, slowly relax the shoulders back. Consider the position of the head. I know I tend to sort of sit with my head forwards quite a lot. So just wriggling that out. And let your eyes close if that's handy. And try and get a sense of letting the knees drop, even if they're already on the ground. You open your eyes, gently just bring the fingertips onto the collarbones and let the elbows come together close, low into the chest. On the inhale, start to bring those elbows high, up towards the sky. Roll the shoulders back as far as you can. Probably noticing that the legs lift a little bit as well. See if you can lift the elbows, but let the knees stay down. You might have to actually think about pressing them downwards a little at the same time. And then we'll take these angel wings in the opposite direction a few times. Just drawing up and back, bringing the elbows together close in front of the face and then down towards the bottom of the chest. So it's actually making the top part of your back flex and extend at the same time as opening up the shoulders. We'll take the arms out wide and just come into a surface stretch. So we'll bring that right arm across the body, using the left arm to lock, and then start to get a little bit of traction as we stretch the shoulder round. And see if you can direct your breath a little more into your shoulder blades. Release. So looking for that nice stretchy feeling around the outside of the shoulder that we're drawing around. Release. We'll come up onto our hands and knees, front of the mat. Just move the block out of the way. Come into cat-cow. Moving the shoulders back a little bit. And teasing the spine out for the first couple of repetitions, drawing the belly in a little bit, getting that small amount of flexion in the spine, and then letting that grow as the repetitions pass. And just giving the spine a little bit of time to wake up in its own way. We're going to come into child's pose. We're going to take the knees wide to do this. feet together. Sit gently down onto the heels, walking the hands forwards, lowering the body towards the ground. Just pressing the hands lightly into the floor and drawing the tailbone towards the back of the mat. I'll take that into a side bend version. Taking the hands towards the right side to begin with. Again, pressing into the hands. So pushing back a little bit, pressing down and away. So very subtly changing the emphasis of how we do this normally. Come across to the second side and press hands down and push back a little bit. Draw that tailbone away from you. Come back into the center again. Let ourselves lift up. We'll pivot on the knees, just take the feet forwards into Dandasana. So sitting up tall, hands by the side of the body, roll the shoulders back. Just roll the thighs in a little bit, so you're turning the legs in towards each other. Flexing the toes back and lengthening the thighs and the heels away. We'll slowly take that down to the floor. So just bringing the feet in and allowing the spine to roll down. Use the block behind the back of the head. Put the feet in onto the center line close to the bottom. I also take the hands around, interlace them around the back of the right thigh and lengthen the legs slowly towards the sky. So we're going to push and pull it two different directions. Press the heel up, pull the hip down. Now we'll just use the toes to wiggle that left foot along the floor, down the center line, until we just press the heel out slowly. And bringing both legs as straight as we can. Again, we're just turning the thigh in a little on the lower leg. And then using the feet back in. And repeating the same to the second side. Getting a sense of pressing the thigh into the hands and rolling the shoulders back. So pulling the shoulder blades towards the ground. And then using the toes again to walk the opposite leg out. And then we'll release those feet back in towards the body. And you take the arms out wide in line with the chest, palms up, and lift the right leg up towards the sky and cross the thighs over. Bring the foot down and see if you can wrap your foot underneath the opposite calf. So just wiggling the toes underneath. Keeping the lower back pressing into the floor, you're drawing your belly to your spine. You take your right arm up towards the sky and left arm over the top. Back at the elbows. Press the shoulders to the ground as you bring your elbows down towards your belly button. Supine eagle pose. And then we'll release everything out. Wrap, just take the legs to the sky, give them a little shake out. Put the feet back down to the floor. Get the spine nice and flat as you lift the left leg up and roll that across. And see if you can feed that foot underneath again. Getting more or less than 90 degrees across the legs to the floor. Left arm comes up, right arm over the top. Bring the palms together in front of the face. The shoulders down. Keep the body drawing in. And release out of that as well. Take the legs up to the sky again, just give them a little toe stretch, roll the ankles around. And draw the knees in towards the body. Give ourselves a little hug. Roll gently onto the right side, use the hands to press into the floor. Lift back up, scoot the feet towards the back of the mat, come up onto all fours, and then move gently into our down dog. I'm just going to press the block towards the back of the mat so it's out of the way. And let yourself walk the feet out if that feels good. Now it's okay. Scissor of the right leg to the sky. Draw the knee in towards the chest. Bring the foot through into the lunge. Take a little breath from there and drop the back heel down onto the floor. You're going to bring your right hand onto the inside of this front leg and swoop your left arm slowly around your back so you can place a palm onto the base of your spine. Turn the chest to the long side of the mat. You can either be on the fingertips or you can bring a palm and a hand to the floor. I'm going to try and press the hips over towards the left side, the side that you're looking to. Take a little breath from there. Allow ourselves to press away from the floor into our warrior two. Inhale the hands to the sky. Rotate gently down to the floor. Bring the hands back to the ground. Step it into our down dog. Scissor the left leg. Draw the knee in through for the lunge. Bring the left hand in as we drop the heel down onto the floor. Slowly draw your right hand around. Place that hand on the base of the spine. Lift slowly up to my warrior twos. Inhale the hands high. Rotate gently out towards the front of the mat, down to the floor. Now swivel the heel this time on the back foot and allow yourself to step into a forward bend in front of the mat. Bring the hands onto the hips. Let ourselves lift up slowly. Inhale the hands towards the sky. Bring the hands through the heart. Hinge over the hips down to the floor. Softening the knees as much as you can. Weight into the toes. Hands come onto the hips again. Keep the spine nice and long as we lift up. Inhale high. Hands through the heart. Draw the belly in. Lift the hips. Down to the floor we go. Hands onto the hips again. Lift up. Time for a few more of these. Inhaling up. Hands into the heart. Exhaling down. Over the hips. So let's come up for the last time. Bring the hands in towards the heart. Right, so to step back about halfway down the mat. And bring the toes together so they touch. Allow yourself to soften your knees over your toes. Gradually, you're going to sit down a little lower, try to keep the spine long. So you're going to need to sort of tuck the spine forwards a little bit underneath you rather than letting the spine round. We're going to shift the weight into the left leg and pin the thighs together, but allow yourself to slide your right foot forwards so that you can point the toes and the leg is as straight as you can be. You're still trying to squeeze those thighs together into the center line. This chair pose just happens to be a single-legged version. And then we're bringing the foot slowly back. Try and reline up again. And then we begin to shift into the opposite side. And then take the left foot forwards. And trying to keep the hips square to the front of the mat rather than rotating round. So see if you can avoid that. We'll bring the foot slowly back on the mat. Let ourselves lift up high. Let's hit hands high and to a little bit of a back bend. Through the chest with the hands, hinge over. Take it a little slower with the feet together. It's a little tighter on the hamstrings. Put the fingers into the front of each of the mat. Allow yourself to step back into your down dog. We'll take a breath here and draw the left knee in towards the chest. Bring the foot through into the lunge. And then start to walk the fingers around to the long side of the mat, turning the toes in. Just allow yourself to have a little wriggle through the hips, still treating them fairly gently. Now take a breath here. See if you can start to bend the elbows. Let the body drop down towards the ground. Yeah, actually, straggling myself in the top. Yes, try to squeeze the elbows in so that the forearms are as close to parallel as you can manage. And press down into the feet evenly. And lift the tailbone towards the sky. So there's very little weight in the hands here. Just trying to use the elbows to draw in and spread the back of the shoulders out a little bit. Now we'll lift up to that halfway point. Walk the hands around gently to the front of the mat. extend the heel on the back foot towards the sky. I'm going to step the back foot about halfway in and stay up on the tippy toes. Allow the fingers to come forwards a little more so they're more underneath your shoulders. We'll press down through two straight legs. At the rear leg, the heel is away from the ground, but just on the ball of the foot. You're going to try and lift your chest forwards and up, draw the belly in, and keep the shoulders away from the ears. I'm going to roll the heel back down, bring the fingers back in line, step ourselves gently back into the down dog. Draw the right knee in towards the body, take the foot through for the lunge, and then gently walk the hands around the long side of the mat, turning the toes in again. Take a little breath, allow yourself to forward the body. Remember the elbows tucking in a little bit, pressing down lightly as we lift up. Lift ourselves halfway, walk the fingers through to the front of the mat again, turning ourselves back into that lunge. Then we're going to step the back foot about halfway in. Have a little look. Get the hands forwards that little bit. Keep the body over the center line. Straighten both legs, pressing down, drawing the chest forwards a little bit. So trying to get the spine long and flat, right up on the fingertips. We'll soften the front knee this time, step it in to the forward fold at the front of the mat. We're going to do some sun salutations. You get a little warmer. Bring the hands onto the hips, soften the knees, lift up. Inhale high, hands through the heart. And exhale down slowly to the floor. Taking the right foot back, drop the heel onto the center line. Bring the hands alongside the body as we lift a little. Float the right arm forwards and cartwheel ourselves up. Into warrior two. And inhale the hands high, rotate, lengthen back out towards that front of the mat. Hands come down and step into a down dog. And come forwards into plank, push forwards on the tippy toes, bring the elbows into the body, bootlaces change for up dog. So we're keeping the legs strong and lifting the hips up towards the sky. We'll scissor the right leg to the ceiling, draw the knee in towards the body, bring the foot through to the front of the mat, to lunge, press out through the back here and push off the toes into the forward bend. And come onto the hips and we lift up again. The second side. Hands through the heart. And down to the floor. Left leg steps back into lunge and the heel drops in. Hands alongside the body as we lift that little. And take our cartwheel up into our warrior. Just the briefest of moments to stabilize. And then inhale the hands high. Rotate out and down. Stepping back into our down dog. Come forwards into the plank. Push forwards on the tippy toes. Lift into up dog. Rolling into down dog. Scissor the left leg to the sky. Draw the knee into the body. Through to the front of the mat into lunge. And push off the toes. in front of the mat. Simple as that. Inhale up. Add a twist. Inhale high. Hands into the heart. And exhale down to the floor. Right foot back. Plant the right hand. Take the left hand up to the sky for that twist. Just draw the knee in towards the body a little bit as you press out through the back heel. Hands come to the floor, fingertips, drop the back heel in, lift into our warrior two. Inhale, hands high, rotate out long and low, step it back into your dog. Forwards into the plank, off planks, up dog. Roll it back, down dog. So this is the right leg. Draw the knee in towards the body, through for lunge. Step it through front of the mat. Hands onto the hips and we lift. Last side. Left leg back, full lunge. Right arm lifts for the twist. Hands to the floor. Drop the back heel in. Warrior two. Inhale high. Lengthen out. Down to dog. And scissor left leg for the last time. Draw the knee in towards the body. Through for lunge. And step it through. Hands onto the hips. Let ourselves lift. Inhale high. Again, we'll step back to about the middle of the mat. Shake out the legs a little bit. And then bring the thighs together again as the feet touch. Hands into the heart. Soften the knees over the toes. Find a point to focus on the floor just ahead of the mat. So take your arms out wide. So we practiced supine eagles earlier. Now we're going to do the standing version. So we're going to take the weight into the right leg. Slowly lift the left. Wrap the leg round as best we can. Left arm across. Right arm over the top. Bring the palms together in front of the face. And release them out. And let ourselves lift up tall. Set hands high, feet together. Small back bend. And just come back in towards the heart. And find that point again that we used. Soften the knees over the toes. Keep the spine long as we did before in chair pose. Arms go wide. The weight goes into the left leg. The right leg lifts up, crosses over and wraps around. Right arm comes across. Left arm over the top. Put the palms together. Release out from there as well. Feet together, hands high. Little back bend for second time. In this pose. Bring hands through the heart. Reach to the floor again. Hands through to the front of the mat. Allow ourselves to come back into our down dog. And from there, we'll move forward gently into our plank. Take a little breath. Allow ourselves to lift the hips towards the sky and back into down dog. So just coming forwards gently into plank, and then pressing back into the dog. Do that one more time. Just coming forwards gently, shoulders over the wrists, and then lifting back. Now this time in down dog, allow yourself to bend your knees so that the thighs are vertical to the ground. And then slowly draw your belly in, roll your spine up towards the sky as you move into the plank. It's called a wave plank. And then press yourself back gently into your down dog. Bend the knees again. Draw the belly on the exhale. Spine forwards into your regular plank. And yourself to lift up. Soften the knees. Roll the spine through and up into regular plank. We'll take it into side plank. Just taking the right hand up towards the sky, lifting the hips a little, pressing the feet into the floor. And then bring hands down. And just take that over to the opposite side. Keeping the hips pressing forwards a little. Okay, keep your eyes on the bottom hand, looking towards the ground, a little easier on the balance, or you can take it to the side, which lifts the balance element a little. Then we'll bring those hands down to the floor. And bring the knees back down to the ground. Pivot the feet out to the side. The legs extend out towards the front of the mat. I'm going to take the block again and just place that underneath my bottom. We're back into Dandasana, rolling the thighs in again. Lengthening those legs away. Now we'll take a breath here and just draw the right heel in towards the groin. Let the knee come down to the floor. So this foot remains flexed in towards the thigh. We'll roll the inner thigh in on the long leg, put a little bend in the knees as we square the hips to the front of the mat. And then fold slowly over that front thigh. I'm going to take hands out towards the foot and just use the hands to draw the foot towards me. And I'm not worrying about coming down super low today. And try and press out through the heel a little more and work into the back of the leg. And releasing from there. And just taking it to the opposite side. So the feet come together on the center line. The heel hooks in, foot remains flexed, the knee out to the side, pressing down. Thigh rolls in a little bit. As we said before, hands on the shin. Square the hips to the front of the mat before we start to fold in. Hands forwards. And just lengthen out through that heel a little, if at all possible. And then we'll release from there. Let ourselves sit up. Just take the legs out, give them a little shake. Then I'm going to take the left foot and bring that underneath. But the heel is, I guess, more in towards the groin than it is out towards the hip, because I want the knee pointing deliberately out to the side a little. I'm going to lean out towards the left and hook the right leg back, and I want to try and get this knee be behind where this foot is. And then whilst I'm still leaning out, I'm going to start to wiggle the front shin forward. So it's starting to follow the line of the mat out here on the front. And then I'm going to bring the back leg into more of a 90 degrees. So this shape is the bottom of the swastika. And then I'm going to let myself turn the chest. So I'm following the thigh out to the side a little bit. Fold down over that front thigh. And just allow myself to bring the hands underneath my forehead. And then trying to let the top thigh, which is hip flexor, which has got a little bit crampy. Just trying to let that relax down to the ground. So I'm off to the side of the body, off to the side of the mat rather. Right down on top of the thigh. Try and relax the shoulders. See how much space you can get in the spine. And just allow that hip flexor to relax out. If it's not used to being in this position, you might get cramp like I just got. It won't be a big cramp, it'll just be that little tightening that you can breathe through. Then begin to let yourself sink into the pose. You get a little deeper into the front leg as well. You're able to allow more of your body weight to sink into that thigh. And slowly press out as we draw the belly in on the exhale. And swivel the legs forwards to the front of the mat again. I'll just give a few seconds for the legs to just wriggle around a little bit. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring the right heel in. So the knee is out to the side. And lean out to the right as we did before. Swing. Opposite leg back a little bit. Remember, you want to try and get the knee behind the foot. And allow yourself to turn the chest gently towards that front thigh. Gradually lean out. Bring the hands underneath. And let yourself just sit in and relax that top leg. And then we can slowly lift up. So the legs are through and around again. So we'll move into Shavasana. Sliding the bum forwards. Keeping the knees high and behind. As you roll back, you need to move your blocks either out of the way completely or at least underneath your head. Allow yourself to lengthen your legs out slowly towards the corner edges of the mat. Untangle the hips, just wriggle them out. Same with the shoulders, loosening the jaw. Eyes closed. And then just let the legs relax. See if you can sink through a few layers as you exhale. Begin to gently wriggle his fingers and toes. Allow the wrists and ankles to begin to move as you connect your nervous system gradually back up. Allow those extra breaths to stretch your body out. And then slide the heels along the floor. And carefully bring the knees in towards the body. Disturb the spine as little as possible. And roll carefully out onto the right. We'll take a couple of breaths there. And we'll use the exhale into the floor and lift our way back up. Come into a seated posture. Hands into the heart as you breathe in. And the exhale, letting the head bow. Feeling our practice. Inhaling back up. Eyes open fully. Namaste. Thanks for joining me. See you again soon on the mat.